Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Now. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. If you're new to our podcast, welcome. We're all about helping you improve your English through real, natural conversations. And if you've been with us before, thank you so much for coming back. Today, we have a really special episode planned for you. We're going to talk about something I call a power day. Now, what is a power day? Well, it's one of those days when everything just clicks into place. You wake up feeling energized, you accomplish your goals, you feel productive, creative, and by the end of the day, you're thinking, wow, I really made the most of today. And to help me explore this topic, I've invited someone very special. Jack, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk about this topic. Power days are something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Wonderful. So before we dive into the main conversation, Jack, could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? What do you do and where are you from?
Sure. So, I'm originally from Australia, but I've been living in Singapore for the past 3 years. I work as a digital marketing manager for a tech startup. It's a fast-paced job, so having power days versus just getting through the day is something I've had to really figure out. I'm also into fitness, I love cooking, and I'm trying to learn Mandarin, which is, let's just say it's challenging.
That's amazing. Learning a new language is definitely challenging, but so rewarding. Our listeners know that feeling very well. All right, so let's jump right in. Jack, when I say power day, what comes to mind for you?
That's a great question. For me, a power day is when I feel like I'm in complete control of my time and energy. It's not necessarily about doing a million things, but about doing the right things with focus and intention. You know, there's a big difference between being busy and being productive.
I love that distinction, being busy versus being productive. Can you explain that a bit more for our listeners who might be learning English?
Of course. So, when you're busy, you might be running around, answering emails, going to meetings, checking your phone constantly. You're doing things, but at the end of the day, you might ask yourself, what did I actually accomplish? But when you're productive, you're making real progress on things that matter to you. You're moving closer to your goals.
That's such an important point. I think a lot of people, including myself, sometimes confuse the two. Now, let's make this really practical for everyone listening. Jack, can you describe a recent power day you had in 2026? Take us through it from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. So, I had a really great power day just last week, actually. It was a Tuesday. Let me walk you through it. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Now, I know that sounds early, and I'm not always able to wake up that early, but when I do, it sets such a positive tone for the day.
I have to interrupt you there for a second, because I think our listeners might be wondering, how do you actually wake up that early? Do you have any tips?
Great question. The secret isn't really in the morning, it's in the night before. I made sure to go to bed by 10 p.m. the previous night. I also put my phone in another room, so I'm not tempted to scroll through social media before bed. And here's a trick that really works for me. I put my alarm clock across the room, so I actually have to get out of bed to turn it off. Once I'm up and moving, it's much easier to stay awake.
That's brilliant. The alarm clock trick is something I need to try. So you woke up at 5:30. What happened next?
So, the first thing I did was drink a large glass of water. Your body is dehydrated after sleeping for 7 or 8 hours, so this really helps wake you up. Then, I did a 20-minute meditation session. I use an app called Calm, but there are many good ones out there.
Meditation is something that keeps coming up in conversations about productivity and mental health. For listeners who've never tried it, what would you describe meditation as?
Sure. Meditation is basically the practice of training your mind to focus and be present in the moment. When I meditate, I usually sit comfortably, close my eyes, and focus on my breathing. Thoughts will come into my mind, that's totally normal, but I acknowledge them and let them go, bringing my attention back to my breath. It's like exercise for your brain. It helps reduce stress, improve concentration, and just start the day with a calm, clear mind.
I love that analogy, exercise for your brain. Okay, so after meditation, what came next in your power day?
After meditation, I did a quick 30-minute workout. Nothing too intense, just some bodyweight exercises. Push-ups, squats, planks, that kind of thing. Getting your body moving in the morning is incredible for your energy levels and mood. Then I took a cold shower. I know, it sounds terrible, but hear me out. A cold shower in the morning really wakes you up. It increases your alertness, can boost your immune system, and honestly, if you can handle a cold shower first thing in the morning, the rest of your day's challenges seem much more manageable.
You're braver than I am. I've heard about the benefits of cold showers, but I haven't worked up the courage yet. After your shower, I'm guessing it was time for breakfast?
Exactly. So I made what I call my power breakfast. I had scrambled eggs with spinach and mushrooms, some whole grain toast with avocado, and a smoothie with banana, berries, protein powder, and almond milk. The key is to have a breakfast that's high in protein and has some healthy fats. This keeps your energy stable throughout the morning instead of having a sugar crash an hour later.
That sounds delicious and nutritious. Now, all of this was before work, right? What time did you actually start your workday?
Right. So by this point, it was about 7:30. I started my workday at 8 a.m., but before diving into emails and meetings, I spent 30 minutes on what I call my power hour planning. This is crucial for having a power day.
Tell us more about this power hour planning. What does that involve? So, power hour planning is when I sit down with my notebook. I prefer pen and paper for this, not digital, and I write out my top 3 priorities for the day. Not 10 things, not 20 things, just 3. These are the things that if I accomplish them, I'll feel like the day was successful. Then I look at my calendar and block out time for each of these priorities. This is called time blocking. Instead of just having a to-do list and hoping you'll get to everything, you actually schedule when you'll work on each task. That's really smart. I think a lot of people make to-do lists, but they don't schedule when they'll actually do those tasks. Can you give us an example from that Tuesday? What were your 3 priorities? Sure. My 3 priorities were, first, finish the marketing presentation for our new product launch. Second, have a one-on-one meeting with a team member who was struggling with a project and needed my guidance. And third, write the first draft of a blog post for our company website about AI trends in marketing. Those sound like substantial tasks. How did you tackle them throughout the day? Well, I used a technique called the Pomodoro technique. Have you heard of it? I have, but why don't you explain it for our listeners? Absolutely. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method where you work in focused 25-minute intervals called Pomodoros, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. The idea is that 25 minutes is short enough that you can maintain intense focus, but long enough to make real progress. And knowing that a break is coming soon helps you resist distractions. During those 25 minutes, I don't check my phone, I don't check email, I just focus on the one task in front of me. I love how specific and actionable this is. So you used this technique to work on your presentation. How long did that take? I blocked out 2 hours in the morning for the presentation, which meant about 4 or 5 Pomodoros with breaks. I find that my mental energy is highest in the morning, so I always tackle my most important or most challenging task first thing. There's even a saying about this: eat the frog first. Eat the frog? That's an interesting expression. What does that mean? Yes, it comes from a quote attributed to Mark Twain. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. The frog represents your most difficult or least appealing task. If you do it first, everything else in your day feels easier by comparison. Plus, you're not spending all day dreading it or procrastinating. I love that. Okay, so you finished your presentation in the morning. What about the rest of your day? So after completing the presentation around 11:30 a.m., I took a longer break. I went for a short walk outside. This is something I really recommend. Even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, getting outside, getting some fresh air and sunlight, moving your body, it recharges you. Plus, walking can be great for creative thinking. When I came back, I had the one-on-one meeting with my team member. This was scheduled for 11 a.m. and lasted about 45 minutes. We discussed the challenges he was facing with his project, brainstormed some solutions, and I gave him some guidance on next steps. This kind of interaction, where you're really helping someone and having a meaningful conversation, that's also part of what makes a day feel powerful. It's not just about checking off tasks, it's about how you help others or contribute to your team. That's a really important point. A power day isn't just about personal achievement, it can also be about how you help others or contribute to your team. What happened after the meeting? So I had lunch around noon. I had prepared a lunch the night before. Grilled chicken with quinoa and roasted vegetables. Meal prepping is honestly a game changer for power days. If you have to think about what to eat or go out to buy lunch, it breaks your flow and takes up mental energy and time. While eating, I didn't work. I think this is important to mention. I actually watched a few minutes of a comedy show to relax and laugh a bit. Laughter and rest are important for maintaining energy throughout the day. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think in productivity culture, there's sometimes this idea that you should be working every single minute, but rest and enjoyment are part of a sustainable, powerful day, right? Exactly. If you're pushing yourself at 100% intensity all day long, you'll burn out. A power day is about working smart and taking care of yourself, not about exhausting yourself. After lunch, I tackled my third priority, writing the blog post. This took me about 2 hours, again using the Pomodoro technique. By 3 p.m., I had completed all 3 of my major priorities for the day. That feeling of accomplishment was incredible. Wow, so by 3 p.m., you'd already accomplished your main goals? What did you do for the rest of the workday? So this is where many people go wrong. They've accomplished their main tasks and then they just start filling time with busy work, responding to every email, attending unnecessary meetings, or scrolling through social media. Instead, I had a plan for the afternoon, too. I spent about an hour on what I call admin and communication time. This is when I batch process emails, respond to messages, update project management tools, and handle smaller tasks that don't require deep focus. The key word here is batch. Instead of checking email every 5 minutes throughout the day, I only check it during specific time blocks. This prevents constant interruptions and helps me stay focused when I'm working on important tasks.